What's happening, y'all? Rich Sosa coming back at you with another video today. And before we get started, I gotta go ahead and say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. So God bless every single one of you, and comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from, and I'll definitely be sure to get back to you with the response, man. So as you can see from the looks of the thumbnail title and screen, today we're going to be talking about NBA 2K26 news and a lot of what's going on in the community as far as talk about what kind of builds and the builder itself in NBA 2K26, man. So I got a lot in store for y'all, and once again I do want to say thank every single one of you for, you know, coming through, showing your support. It truly does mean the world to me. And with that being said, I do want to open up with a scripture coming out of the book of John. This one's going to be 8 verse 12. Again, therefore Jesus spake unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in the darkness, but shall have the light of life. And you know, this is just a message that I want to push out in the 2K community, because I feel like this can definitely be one of the most toxic gaming communities out there. And for those of y'all who have been around for some time, man, you already know what I'm about. But to be able to connect y'all with God and also be able to put out these kind of videos, man, it's truly a blessing. So I want to say thank you again. And if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you know, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And you know, I'm going to open up with this tweet that I put out a few days ago. So another content creator put out a build, and as you can see on the screen, this is the shoot first point in NBA 2K25. On this build, he has pretty much a 99 3-point shot, mid-range, steal, speed, agility, and on top of that, if you want to, you know, adding by boost, adding takeovers, you pretty much can say this build can also get a 99 ball handle, speed with ball, and possibly even close shot and driving layup if you pick, you know, the correct takeover. So I went ahead and put out a tweet, serious question for the community. Is there any player in NBA history you can point to that matches this archetype from NBA 2K25? 99 3-point, mid-range, ball handle, steal, speed, agility, standing at just 5'9" with a 6'1" wingspan. Like, who is this supposed to be? Do y'all think this type of build should be allowed to return in NBA 2K25? Because this ain't realism. It's one of the biggest reasons we're seeing a disconnect in gameplay balance right now. And as you can see from the tweet, man, I did get a lot of replies, but something that I really want to hit on is not the fact that this build is effective or not. That's not the point of this at all. The fact that you can get all these attributes maxed out to a 99 on this kind of build, tell me if we're not even allowed to make LeBron James build. Exactly. Let's just go ahead and say you want to make a Stephen Curry build. Can you do so at his exact height? You know, it doesn't make sense that we've never seen anybody in the history of the game at 5'9", and we can make an archetype like this in NBA 2K25, but come to making a real NBA player, it does not allow you to do that. Now, my question would be, what's the reason for that? Now, a lot of y'all are going to say the L2 cheese is the reason for that, or the fact that dribbling isn't effective. You know, those are both valid, but truly, I think it's going to come down to what the community is always pushing for as far as what kind of style of game they're going to be playing. So a lot of talk has been coming in the community from two people specifically that I'm going to talk about are going to be Boom Boom and Uncle Demi. So just recently, Uncle Demi put out a video talking about the style of, you know, play that he wants to see come in NBA 2K26, and based off the hints and, you know, I'll say the Easter eggs that we got from the roadmap, a lot of people have been talking about more of an arcade feel that we're going to get come NBA 2K26. So starting with Boom Boom, she put, can we break backboards in NBA 2K26? And based off of the tweet, it's going to show on the roadmap reveal the Dawkins Glass. And pretty much, I followed up with a tweet. I talked about this in another video. I said, let it be clear, I would love to end the game like this after it being a close. And it pretty much shows a player breaking the backboard. So, you've seen Uncle Demi's video from the other day. He was talking about the arcade machine that you can see in the roadmap reveal. And pretty much the only reason that we would be seeing something like this, and there's two different predictions and conspiracy theories I'll say that's going around in the community. One from Boom Boom and one from Uncle Demi. So, his theory is that the reason why we're seeing an arcade instead of, you know, something like a console in the room is because that's the type of feel that we're going to get come for NBA 2K26. You know, a lot of people in NBA 2K25 and even prior, ever since pro play came to being a thing, a lot of players and even I'll say the devs themselves have been pushing more towards, you know, having that real feel of simulation basketball. Now, Boom Boom, on the other hand, she was predicting that you can download the content from NBA 2K, let's say, for example, 15 up or even 14 up to about 20. You're able to go back in time and play on those parks. That would be lit. But Uncle Demi's theory is that we're going to get this type of feeling of play compared to simulation in NBA 2K26. So my prediction, based off everything that we're seeing, I think that's the route that we have to go. Especially, you know, a lot of people talking about how previous dribbling was in NBA 2K, let's say, for example, 16, 17. A lot of people really love that type of dribbling and the movement itself. So something that I do want to get into, coming from Cole the Man, he was talking about pretty much how dribbling isn't effective in NBA 2K25, and pretty much even almost some can say, I wouldn't say 24, but pretty much every year after about, I would say personally 21, the dribbling has been much different and it hasn't been effective as people who used to play back in 2K14 to 12. Even prior to that, man, dribbling has not been what it once was. And for players like, for example, Steezo, players even in the past like G-Man, Cole the Man, myself, I think we need that more fluid type of movement, but freedom of being able to dribble and not feeling like we're stuck in mud. You know what I mean? So now another tweet he put out was comparing NBA 2K16 gameplay versus 2K25. So in 16, I gotta be real, man, the movement and the dribble moves were much faster and they did look effective. But I remember back in the day, I don't remember anybody complaining about the dribbling itself. Now, the only reason you would be complaining is if you weren't able to guard someone. I'm being real with y'all, because back then, even just getting into the online park modes in NBA 2K16 and 15, I'll say that definitely, man, the dribbling was something lit to see, even if you couldn't do it yourself. And in NBA 2K25, if you compare it to what we're seeing today, I think it's really, I'll be real, it's slow, man. It's not what we're used to seeing. And even if that means churning up the sliders with using the same exact pro play that we're seeing, I think that can possibly give, you know, a positive impact on the gameplay itself. You know, it's all going to come down to what you see from your own perspective, because there's going to be people who don't like it, there's going to be people who will, and it's all going to come down to if you adjust and find a way to have fun with it, man. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is Lumpia Doncic. He pretty much put that this build isn't the best, and if it wants to come return in NBA 2K26, it should, bro. But pretty much builds that are 6 foot and under aren't effective because they're a defensive liability, and that's really not the main issue. The main thing is going to be the attributes that you can unlock, but not being able to really compare that to a player that we've seen come close to it in the past. Even if you wanted to make a player like, let's say, for example, I guess you can say you can only make a true NBA player if they're an inside. Not if you're, you know, an outside shooter. Some possibly, but for example, let's just go ahead and say you wanted to make a Kevin Durant build. Easy, you can't make him. Getting all of the elite contact dunks, the defense like him, and even on top of that, being able to dribble, that's something you can't do. And I think come NBA 2K26, we're going to see some major shifts throughout the year that are probably going to surprise a lot of people. But to be honest, I think that's what we need. Now, another thing that I think we need to see in NBA 2K26 coming from YT Solo, he said, "Hey Baluba, can we have instant green animations on NBA 2K26? It's a simple thing that makes a big difference." And honestly, I'll be real with y'all, there's nothing more satisfying than knowing you green your shot just right as you time it. And I'll be real, in some way, man, I feel like it kind of helps with knowing your timing even better. As soon as they took away vibrations, you know, if you knew back in the day from 2K when you were able to shoot and it vibrated when you needed to release on green, bro, if even we were to see return in that would be super lit. But I know because of Zans and cheaters, and pretty much what that is it's a device that people pretty much use to cheat and green every single shot in 2K, and it's used across different platforms. But the main reason for it is it's supposed to be used for people who do have disabilities. So the fact that we're seeing people use it in a way that it shouldn't be, you know, it's sad, bro, but it is what it is. There's always going to be that small group of people that, you know, are going to use things and exploit it. Now, another thing that Uncle Demi did talk about in his video was potentially seeing a rookie build in NBA 2K26, and something that he did mention was a fact that we're not able to, you know, fully see our full potential of a build that we're making in the builder when we test it out, because we're going up against AIs instead of real human beings. You know, if we were able to see, you know, some version of Rookieville to where, you know, we're able to test out these 99 builds before we make them, and we, you know, we're able to see the difference from using an 85 ball handle or 85 speed with buff from an 80, or using an 80 perimeter defense between using a 90, you know, that would be lit. And not having to really commit towards making the builds and putting, you know, $100 into them, that would be something that I feel like it would allow us to, I think it would propel players to try to find more ways to stop metas that are taking over the game. For example, let's just say come NBA 2K26, you're seeing the L2 cheese meta still be dominant. Well, if there's something like a Rookieville implemented in NBA 2K26 where you can go ahead and test out with your friends, with your buddies, or even random people against like matchmaking, and you're able to test out, you know, different builds against those metas without actually having to, you know, to have it count against your record, I think that would be lit, bro, because it's going to propel people and, you know, get them excited to want to make builds to stop these metas. And at that point, you're just going to get a variety of different builds. Of course, you know, I feel like there's always going to be a meta at the end of the year, but I think if they implemented Rookieville, bro, throughout the year, you'll be able to really see and try to find different playstyles and builds to, you know, stop these metas that are super overpowered, like a 99 offensive rebound that you'll see in NBA 2K25, or a 99 3-point speed agility build that you'll see in NBA 2K25. You know, that would be something that I think needs to be implemented, and I think that would be lit for the community SAW, man. Let me know what you think about that down below. Now, also, coming from Double H, he did put out a tweet in terms of court placement. How many courts should there be, and what courts should be out there? I think this would be a perfect court setup for NBA 2K25. Close courts, less got next spots, more players allowed in each server equals consistent games. Now even if this were something that we would see in Rookieville come NBA 2K26, that would be lit as well, man. And even if, you know, we needed to unlock certain amount of, let's say, tokens to unlock these builds and test them out, you know, that'd be something lit as well. Let's just go ahead and say you need to play 5 MyCareer games to unlock 1 token to test out a new build. That would be something I know would intrigue players to also want to play MyCareer even more. Now, there has to be some catch to it, like you can't unlock them online because then people would just abuse it. But who knows, maybe they implement something where you can actually do that. You know, I'm just trying to give y'all some ideas of what I think is going to be coming based off of the information that we've got from, you know, some of the closest content creators to and from 2K, but also just what we're seeing in the community, man. You know, my prediction is that we're going to see a faster style of dribbling in NBA 2K26, man, especially on top of that, the fact that there's a lot of hints in the community that this is going to be a good year, man. I guarantee y'all, especially if you have that mindset towards it. I promise you, if you're a new and up-and-coming content creator, bro, this is going to be the year for you, bro. Shine out and continue to stay consistent, and I promise you everything will work out in your favor. You know, something that I did get mentioned about is vacuum screens in NBA 2K26 coming from 2 different people. So what really needs addressing is all the other systems like the vacuum screens and post-ups, the physics of the game, the defense systems, especially against when you match up with someone on the perimeter that has significantly less strength than me. And also, vacuum screens are the worst. I have Legend Pick Dodger and still have 30 dropped on me because of the guard hiding behind screens. But hey, it's pro play and it's realistic, right? That's why I'm telling y'all, man, I think we're going away from that style of play. And I think come NBA 2K26, we're going to see a lift in, you know, what you can expect from that L2 cheese lineup, the non-realistic play. You know, with all this said, I think we're going to see a shift in play come NBA 2K26, especially because the energy feels as though that's what the community wants, man. And that's why I'm putting out this video to voice an opinion for many of y'all. And let me know if you agree with this, man. Let me know if you don't. I'm not trying to shift, you know, any of y'all in one direction. I really just want to give my insight on what I think is, you know, the best route to take come for NBA 2K26, man. But just know that none of this, you know, us growing rapidly, we're almost at 13K supporters, and I appreciate y'all, man. God bless every single one of you. None of it would be possible without y'all, the rich family, man. And of course, number one above everything, Jesus Christ, bro. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. I got another video like this one coming tomorrow, man. We got pro play and gameplay itself that's going to be introduced this week, so expect a lot of info and news on that. I will definitely make sure that I jam-pack that video to make sure that you get all of the latest and greatest news for NBA 2K26. So once again, man, I just want to say thank you for your support, and if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.